The colony ship Aurora drifted silently at the edge of the galaxy, its lights flickering like dying stars. Inside, the crew fought to keep systems alive. Oxygen levels dropped, engines hummed weakly, and a strange darkness pressed against the windows. Captain Lena Morales stared at the control panel, her hands trembling. She had sent every distress signal she could, but the galaxy seemed to ignore them. Then came the SOS. A simple transmission, yet desperate enough to chill anyone who heard it. "We are not alone. Help us." The words repeated, distorted and broken, as if the ship itself were afraid to speak. On Earth, scientists listened in shock. The message was coming from a place thought unreachable. The coordinates were strange, almost forgotten in maps older than some human civilizations. Dr. Amir Patel leaned back in his chair at the Space Observatory. His eyes were wide, reflecting the faint glow of the monitors. This can't be real," he whispered. He had seen many signals in his life, but none like this. Something in the pattern felt alive, like it carried fear, urgency, and intelligence. The team watched as the SOS repeated. Each time, the static seemed to shift, forming shapes in the signal that no one could explain. On board the Aurora, Lena's crew heard a strange sound through the ship's speakers. It was not a voice, but a low, vibrating hum, almost like the ship itself was breathing. The crew froze. Nobody moved. The hum grew louder, forming rhythms that somehow felt like a language they could almost understand but never fully grasp. Back on Earth, communications experts tried to decode it. Every attempt failed. The transmission was not just a call for help, it was a puzzle. Symbols, mathematical sequences, and patterns of light flickered across screens. And then it happened. A reply came, but it was nothing like a human message. The screen went black, then a single shape appeared, a shadow, tall and moving, impossible to define. The team held their breath. The transmission ended as suddenly as it came, leaving silence that felt heavier than any noise. Lena looked out of the viewport. Space stretched endlessly, dark and cold. She could not shake the feeling that someone, or something, was watching them. The hum returned, now echoing inside the hull. It was neither friendly nor hostile, only aware. The crew began to whisper among themselves, their fear growing with every passing minute. Dr. Patel spoke into the microphone, his voice tight. "We need to respond. But we have no idea what we're dealing with. This could be a trap, or it could be our only chance to survive." The observatory was quiet except for the hum of computers. Everyone felt the weight of the decision. They could ignore it, but something in that SOS called to humanity in a way they could not refuse. The team crafted a reply. Simple, human, full of hope. "We received your message. We will come. Do not fear." They sent it into the void, praying that their words would reach the ship. The moment the message left Earth, a chill ran through the observatory. Monitors flickered. Alarms buzzed softly. The response arrived almost immediately. This time, it was different. The shadow appeared again, larger, surrounded by impossible geometries that defied understanding. Then, the monitors filled with a new image, a massive object approaching the colony ship. Its shape was unclear, constantly shifting, like space itself could not contain it. The room fell silent. Nobody spoke. Even the most experienced scientists could not explain what they were seeing. On board the Aurora, the crew stared at the sensors. The unknown object was moving faster than anything they had ever seen. Lena's fingers hovered over the console. Every instinct told her to flee, yet the engines barely responded. The strange hum now pulsed in rhythm with the approaching object. It was as if the ship sensed the threat, preparing them in some way. In the observatory, Dr. Patel shook his head. "It's not just a ship. It's something alive. Something intelligent. It's reacting to us." He turned to his team, voice low. "Whatever it is, it knows we are here. And I don't think it's waiting politely." The transmission ended, leaving only silence. But the sense of presence lingered. A presence that was aware, patient, and far older than humanity. Lena's crew felt it in their bones. Something had answered their SOS. Something had heard their fear. And the galaxy held its breath. As the unknown object drew closer, Lena whispered to herself, "We are not alone, and we are not ready." The lights of the aurora flickered again. Outside, the stars seemed to bend, as if the darkness itself was watching. The first contact had begun, and nothing would ever be the same. The shadow in space moved with a speed and grace no human ship could match. On board the Aurora, Lena Morales and her crew watched the sensors in disbelief. The object twisted and shimmered, sometimes appearing as a massive structure, sometimes like a living being. Every time they thought they understood its shape, it changed. The hum in the ship grew louder, almost like a heartbeat, echoing through the hull. On Earth, Dr. Amir Patel and his team stared at the monitors, hearts pounding. The strange symbols and shapes in the previous transmission began to make a slow, terrifying sense. The patterns were not random. They were communication, but not in words. It was logic, geometry, light, and sound combined in a way humans had never experienced. And now, with the object moving, the patterns were forming something new. This is intelligence, Dr. Patel said, his voice shaking. Not just machines. Not just aliens. Something alive, thinking in ways we can barely imagine. Lena's crew tried to maintain control. The ship's engines groaned under the strain, but it barely responded. They needed to keep distance, but the object seemed aware of their every move. Its presence was oppressive, and for the first time, the crew realized they were not just being observed, they were being studied. Suddenly, the Aurora's sensors picked up something impossible. A ripple in space, like a wave, moving toward them. Lights danced across the viewport, forming shapes that made the crew gasp. It was almost like the object was speaking. Lena swallowed hard, trying to steady her voice. "What is it saying?" she whispered. The object did not use words, yet the message came through. Images, flashes of alien worlds, stars being swallowed by darkness, and beings far older than humans. The crew felt it in their minds as much as their eyes. Fear, urgency, warning, and then, hope. Something about the message suggested that the unknown presence was not there to destroy them. Back on Earth, the observatory was in chaos. Technicians tried to interpret the alien communication, but every attempt failed. The symbols moved faster than any computer could process. Dr. Patel realized that understanding would not come through translation. It would come through observation, through empathy. Humanity had to see, to feel, to act. Lena realized the object was moving closer. The hum reached a deafening pitch, vibrating in her chest. "Hold steady," she told her crew. "We don't know what it wants, but we cannot panic." Her words barely convinced her own trembling hands. The first sign of true contact came suddenly. A beam of soft blue light shot from the object to the Aurora. It wrapped around the ship, scanning every inch, moving like liquid. The crew could see themselves reflected in it, but twisted, alien, as if the object could perceive them in ways humans could not. Lena felt a strange connection. Memories of home, faces of loved ones, hopes and fears, they all seemed visible to the unknown intelligence. "Captain," whispered one of the crew. "It's reading us, everything." The hum changed rhythm. It was no longer just a sound, it was a language of vibrations, telling a story. Lena understood at once. The object was ancient, far older than humanity, and it had seen civilizations rise and fall. It had heard the SOS, understood the fear and desperation, and now it was deciding whether humans were worth helping. On Earth, Dr. Patel noticed something chilling. The object's movement was too precise, almost deliberate. It was not only observing the colony ship, it was judging the species that sent it. And if humans failed to act correctly, if fear or aggression guided them, the response could be catastrophic. Suddenly, the object shifted its light to focus on one single point, the ship's communications array. A holographic pattern appeared inside the Aurora, floating in the cabin air. Lena and her crew could see it fully now, a humanoid figure, unlike anything they had imagined. Its body shimmered, almost translucent, with flowing shapes of light and shadow. It did not speak, yet they understood its intent. It wanted contact, direct and immediate. "Prepare a response," Lena said, voice firm despite the fear. We have to try." The crew moved quickly, sending a simple reply of gestures, lights, and signals. The alien figure watched silently. Then, as suddenly as it appeared, the pattern dissolved, leaving a lingering glow in the cabin. The hum softened, but the presence remained. Lena felt it in her mind, a thought, simple and clear. Follow, learn, survive. Outside, the object began to recede slowly, waiting, observing, testing. The Aurora's sensors picked up a path of light leading into an unknown system. Lena stared at the coordinates. The crew did not speak. The weight of the moment pressed on them. They understood now that their journey had only just begun, and the galaxy had grown far stranger, far larger, and far more dangerous than they had ever imagined. The last thing Lena saw before the object disappeared was a single point of light, pulsing in the distance. It was a promise, or a warning, they could not tell which. But one thing was certain, humanity had drawn attention, and whatever had answered the SOS would not forget them. The Aurora floated silently in the dark, its crew staring at the stars, feeling both fear and awe. The first contact had been made. The galaxy had noticed humans, and the consequences were only beginning. The path of light the object had left led the Aurora into uncharted space. Lena Morales gripped the console, her eyes wide as the stars shifted strangely outside the viewport. Space no longer looked empty, it was alive with shapes and shadows she could not explain. The crew moved silently, each step heavy with tension. They all felt the same thing, the presence of something watching, waiting, and knowing. Dr. Amir Patel and the Earth Observatory team watched the monitors, tracking the Aurora's path. They saw patterns in the movement of the distant object, complex, precise, and deliberate. It was guiding the humans somewhere, though no one could guess why. The team could only speculate. Was it a trap, a test, or a rescue mission? Every possibility carried fear, but humanity had already chosen to follow. Inside the Aurora, Lena's crew began to sense the alien presence differently. The hum, the vibrations, even the light from nearby stars seemed to pulse in response to their thoughts. Lena shivered. "It's like it knows what we are thinking," she said softly. "Our fear, our hope, it sees everything." The path of light led them to a system unlike any humans had encountered. Massive rings of energy spun around blackened stars, forming impossible patterns. Gravity twisted in strange ways, pulling the ship slightly off course. Lena struggled to keep the ship steady. Sensors detected no life, no atmosphere, nothing familiar. Yet the hum had grown louder, almost excited, urging them forward. Then they saw it, a massive figure in the distance, hovering near the largest ring of energy. It was not a ship. It was a being, immense, stretching across kilometers, shimmering with colors humans had no names for. The hum now vibrated inside the hull like a living drum, echoing in every bone. The crew could not move. They only stared, trying to make sense of what they saw. Suddenly, a beam of light shot from the being to the Aurora. The ship shook, but the light was not destructive. Instead, it formed a bridge, a corridor of luminous energy leading from the massive being to the ship. Lena's heart raced. "It wants us to come closer," she whispered. The crew hesitated. No one knew what would happen if they obeyed. Every instinct screamed danger. Yet the path was clear, and the presence of the being was undeniable. Slowly, Lena guided the ship forward. The light wrapped around the Aurora, lifting it gently, almost as if the alien wanted to study them, not harm them. Inside the ship, the crew felt a strange calm. Fear still lingered, but it was mixed with awe. They sensed intelligence, wisdom, and patience far beyond anything humans had encountered. Then, inside the bridge of light, a shape began to form. A humanoid figure emerged, tall and elegant, with flowing limbs that shimmered and moved like liquid metal. Its face was unreadable, Yet Lena felt it was observing each of them individually, understanding them in ways words could never convey. Dr. Patel watched in disbelief. This is a being older than stars, he said. It is intelligent, aware, and, somehow it wants to communicate. The alien raised one limb, and the light shifted into images and symbols. Memories of the Aurora's crew appeared in the air, faces of families, moments of courage, acts of hope. Lena gasped. The being could see them, every detail, yet it did not judge. It only observed and tried to understand. Then, the first direct thought entered Lena's mind. It was not words, but a feeling, clear and urgent. A predator approaches. Danger beyond your understanding. You must act. Lena stumbled back, her pulse racing. She turned to the crew, trying to explain. It's warning us. Something is coming. Something big. Something deadly. The crew felt the truth in her words. The being's presence radiated authority and power, yet there was no malice. It was neither enemy nor ally yet. It was a messenger, a guide, perhaps even a test. The galaxy had suddenly grown far more dangerous, and humanity had been noticed. The alien figure extended a limb again, and this time, the light formed a map, a path through the stars, showing where the predator's influence had begun. Lines of destruction and collapse traced across the galaxy, spreading like ink in water. Lena and her crew could see systems already lost, planets consumed, civilizations erased. The hum grew louder, more insistent. It was a call to action. Humanity had been warned, and the being had chosen them to respond. The first contact was not friendly, but it was not hostile. It was a chance, a rare, terrifying chance, to step into a universe far older and more dangerous than humans had imagined. Lena looked at her crew. Fear and awe mixed in their eyes, but determination shone through. They had received the first warning. They had seen the first intelligence beyond humanity. And now, the galaxy itself had given them a task: survive, and rise to meet a threat that no one else could stop. The alien figure pulsed with light one last time, then receded into the vastness of space. The bridge of energy slowly dissolved. Lena's ship floated alone again, but the presence remained, invisible yet palpable. The hum lingered, a reminder that the universe had changed, and humanity had drawn its attention. The Aurora drifted silently as Lena whispered, almost to herself, "We have met the unknown, and it has spoken. Now we must act." Outside, the stars stretched endlessly, but Lena knew one truth: nothing would ever be the same again. The Aurora floated in the silent blackness of space, but silence had never felt so alive. Lena Morales and her crew stared at the stars, trying to process what they had just witnessed. The alien figure was gone, but its message remained, etched into their minds like fire. A predator was coming, something older, larger, and more dangerous than anything humanity had ever known. On Earth, Dr. Amir Patel's team reviewed the data from the Aurora. The readings were impossible. Massive waves of energy, collapsing star systems, and strange gravitational distortions indicated that an entity was moving across the galaxy, leaving destruction in its wake. "This isn't just a ship or a creature," Patel said quietly. "This is a force of nature. Something alive, intelligent, and utterly lethal." Back on the Aurora, the crew gathered in the control room. Lena tapped a button, opening a communication link with the alien again. A shimmer of light filled the room, and the humanoid figure appeared. It radiated calm authority, yet the sense of danger was immediate. Lena swallowed hard. The alien's presence pulsed, and in their minds, the crew felt a clear, urgent message: the predator approaches. It has consumed stars, civilizations, entire systems. Your species is weak, unprepared, but you can survive if you act. You must follow and learn. Lena felt her chest tighten. How can we stop it?" she asked aloud, though she knew it was impossible. The alien did not answer with words. Instead, it projected visions: systems destroyed by massive energy bursts, planets stripped bare, entire fleets annihilated. The crew watched in horror as life they could barely imagine was obliterated in seconds. The alien then shifted its light to show something else. Ancient technology, long hidden in the galaxy, glowing faintly on a barren world. The visuals were precise. Machines capable of amplifying energy, bending space and gravity, possibly powerful enough to challenge the Predator. Lena realized what it was showing, a path to survival, a way to fight back. Dr. Patel's voice crackled over the link. They're showing you how to fight it, if you can reach it, understand it, and use it correctly. But one mistake, and the Predator will find you first. The crew absorbed the weight of the warning. Humanity had never faced anything like this, and yet they were being handed the chance to survive. The alien's light pulsed again, sending a new message. You will not be alone. You are being tested. Courage, intelligence, and unity will decide your fate. Lena looked at her crew. Fear and awe battled within them, but determination started to shine. They could not run. They could not ignore the warning. The survival of their species, perhaps the entire galaxy, depended on them. 4 hours, the Aurora followed the alien's guidance. Strange, beautiful phenomena appeared around them. Rivers of glowing particles, stars bending in impossible curves, gravitational anomalies that pushed and pulled their ship in all directions. Every moment was a lesson, a test. Lena felt the crew learning not just to survive, but to think and act in ways humans had never considered. The alien then gave the final instruction for the moment, a set of coordinates leading to the ancient technology. We must reach it first, Lena said, trying to steady her voice. We cannot let fear paralyze us. Every second counts. The crew nodded. They had seen the power of the Predator, the ancient intelligence guiding them, and the fragile hope of survival. Lena's eyes scanned the stars. Somewhere out there, the Predator was moving closer, indifferent to planets, stars, or life. Yet they had a path, a dangerous, uncertain path, but a path nonetheless. The alien's presence faded slowly, leaving only a faint shimmer in the air. The hum inside the Aurora lingered, like the heartbeat of the galaxy itself. Lena felt a mix of fear and resolve. Humanity had been noticed, tested, and now had a chance. They could rise to the challenge, or fall like countless others. Dr. Patel's voice came through again. You have guidance, Lena. Use it wisely. Humanity is counting on you. Lena glanced at her crew, faces pale but determined. We have to succeed. We must learn, adapt, and survive. The galaxy will not wait for us to be ready. As the Aurora moved toward the coordinates, the crew felt the full weight of their mission. The Predator was out there, massive and unstoppable, consuming everything in its path. But humanity had courage, ingenuity, and the guidance of an intelligence far older than their own. For the first time, Lena felt a spark of hope. Outside, the stars stretched endlessly, but the galaxy no longer felt empty. The Predator's shadow loomed, but a faint light guided them forward. Humanity had been called into the vastness of space, and they would rise to meet the challenge. Whatever came next, they would face it together. And deep in the darkness, the Predator moved closer, unaware that a small, fragile species was preparing to fight in ways no one had expected. The Aurora drifted into uncharted space, following the alien's guidance. Every star, every planet, every shadow seemed to pulse with danger. Lena Morales gripped the controls tightly, feeling the weight of responsibility pressing on her chest. Her crew moved quietly, each member alert, their eyes scanning the sensors for anything unusual. They had seen the power of the Predator and the intelligence of the alien. Now, it was time to act. Dr. Amir Patel's voice crackled over the comms from Earth. Be careful. Every anomaly in this region is not natural. The Predator's influence has already warped space and time. One mistake could be fatal. Lena nodded, though she could feel only half of the danger from so far away. Space itself seemed to resist their progress. Gravitational waves twisted their path, and glowing energy storms formed walls of light and heat. The alien's instructions led them through a maze of cosmic hazards. Lena watched in awe as entire nebulae bent under invisible forces. Strange, luminous creatures moved along currents of energy, neither threatening nor friendly, just part of the vast, unknown ecosystem. The crew felt both fear and fascination, realizing the universe was alive in ways humans had never imagined. Then the first real test came. A gravitational anomaly ripped through the ship's path. The Aurora shuddered violently as Lena fought to stabilize it. Systems flickered, alarms blared, and crew members clung to anything they could. Lena's hands were steady, but her heart pounded. "We need to use the alien guidance," she shouted over the alarms. "Trust it, every movement counts." Following the alien's subtle signals, the ship twisted and shifted through the anomaly. Every second felt like a lifetime. Lights bent, stars streaked past, and the very fabric of space seemed to stretch. Then, finally, the Aurora emerged on the other side. The crew gasped, relief and exhaustion mixing in their voices. Lena leaned back, feeling the adrenaline leave her body. They had survived their first trial. But the dangers kept coming. The alien led them to a system where a planet glowed faintly with an unnatural light. Sensors detected vast structures buried beneath the surface, remnants of an ancient civilization. Lena felt a thrill. This was the technology the alien had shown them before. But they were not alone. The Predator's presence lingered like a shadow, sensing, testing, waiting. The alien's guidance became more urgent. The crew felt visions of the Predator's power, the destruction it could cause, the speed with which it moved, the civilizations it had already destroyed. The message was clear: failure was not an option. Humanity's courage and unity would be the deciding factor. Lena ordered the crew to prepare the landing shuttle. "We cannot delay," she said firmly. "Whatever is on that planet, it may be our only chance to survive." The shuttle detached from the Aurora, descending through the planet's atmosphere. Strange storms crackled with energy, and gravity waves twisted the ship as if the planet itself were alive. The crew clung to their seats, eyes wide, hearts pounding. On the surface, the technology was even more astonishing than the visions had shown. Massive structures of unknown material rose from the ground, glowing faintly with energy. Lena felt the alien's presence in her mind again, guiding their steps. They had to understand how to use these machines before the Predator arrived. Every second counted. The crew split into teams, exploring the alien structures. Each discovery was more incredible than the last. Machines that bent gravity, devices that could manipulate energy, systems that responded to thought and will. Lena realized humanity was holding tools that could challenge the Predator, but only if they mastered them quickly. Then came the moment of fear. One crew member, driven by panic, nearly activated a device incorrectly. Energy arcs shot across the room, narrowly missing everyone. Lena shouted, and the crew regrouped, hearts racing. The alien presence pulsed sharply in response, a silent warning that one mistake could doom them all. Outside, through the planet's thick atmosphere, the Predator's shadow loomed closer. Sensors detected energy spikes, systems warping, as if the Predator itself were testing them. Lena's crew felt it in their bones. The being was massive, unstoppable, and aware of every move they made. Yet, for the first time, hope stirred among them. They had guidance, tools, and the courage to try. Lena looked at her crew. "We have a path, we have guidance, and we have each other. We cannot fail. The galaxy is counting on us." Determination replaced fear. They had survived anomalies, storms, and the pressure of impossible tasks. Now, they were ready to face the Predator. The Aurora orbited above, waiting like a guardian, as Lena's team prepared the final activation of the alien technology. The hum in the planet's energy fields matched the hum of the ship, a signal that the universe itself seemed to watch. The Predator would arrive soon, but humanity would not be caught unprepared. As Lena activated the first device, light shot into the sky, bending stars and space itself. The crew held their breath. The Predator was coming, but they were no longer helpless. Humanity had learned, adapted, and prepared to fight in ways no one had ever imagined. The mission had begun, and the galaxy would soon witness what humans were capable of when courage and intelligence met impossible odds. The Aurora hovered above the alien structures, its sensors alive with every pulse of energy from the planet below. Lena Morales gripped the console, her eyes fixed on the readings. Outside, the darkness of space seemed to twist and shiver, as if something immense was moving through it. The Predator had arrived. The first sign came as a ripple across the starfield. A shadow, impossibly large, stretched across light years, moving faster than any known ship or natural phenomenon. Sensors went wild, alarms blaring as energy readings spiked beyond comprehension. Lena felt her chest tighten. Everyone, brace yourselves. It's here. Inside the ship, the crew could feel the presence of the Predator. It was a force, not just a being, massive and alive, aware of everything they did. The hum of the alien technology on the planet below matched their fear, vibrating through the hull. Lena swallowed hard, trying to steady herself. This was the moment humanity had been preparing for. The alien's guidance pulsed in her mind. Use the technology. Trust your courage. Act together. Lena nodded, understanding the urgency. The crew split into teams, activating the devices scattered across the planet. Machines roared to life, energy arcs flowing through the structures, bending space and gravity in patterns they barely understood. From orbit, the Predator appeared. It was enormous, a living mass of darkness and energy, moving with intelligence and intent. It pulsed in response to the human devices, testing, probing, learning. Lena's crew watched through the viewport, hearts pounding. The Predator seemed unstoppable, but the alien technology gave them hope. The first strike came. Energy waves shot from the Predator, tearing through the planet's surface and striking near the alien machines. Crew members ducked as sparks flew, the ground shaking beneath them. Lena's hands moved quickly across the controls, stabilizing the devices and redirecting energy flows. Every second counted. One mistake could destroy them all. Outside, the Predator adapted. It shifted its massive form, sending beams of destructive force toward the machines. Lena realized they could not fight it head-on. The alien technology was a tool, not a weapon, and they had to use it wisely. She called out to the crew. Focus. We need to bend space, not fight it directly. Use the patterns the alien showed us. Together. The crew worked in unison, coordinating energy flows between the devices. Light bent and twisted, forming shields and barriers that warped space itself. Gravity rippled, pulling the Predator's massive form into unfamiliar patterns. For a moment, it recoiled, confused by the human's ingenuity. Lena felt a surge of hope. Humanity was fighting back, not with brute force, but with cleverness and courage. The Predator surged again, sending a wave of destruction toward the Aurora. Lena stabilized the ship, holding it steady as the energy passed by. The planet shook, dust and debris flying into the atmosphere, but the devices held. Every crew member moved with precision, following the aliens' guidance and their own instincts. Then came the final move. Lena activated the central device, a massive structure pulsing with energy. Light shot into space, bending reality around the Predator. Its immense form twisted and distorted, caught in a web of energy it could not escape. The hum of the alien technology and the pulse of the Aurora's engines synchronized, amplifying the effect. For a moment, silence fell. Space itself seemed to hold its breath. Then, with a sound like the tearing of the universe, the Predator let out a pulse of energy and vanished, pulled into a trap of human ingenuity guided by alien wisdom. The galaxy seemed to exhale. Humanity had survived. The crew collapsed in exhaustion and relief. Lena's hands shook as she released the controls, staring at the stars. They had faced a being beyond imagination and had not only survived, they had triumphed. The alien presence pulsed once more, this time with a soft, approving rhythm. Lena felt it in her mind. You have courage, intelligence, and unity. You are worthy. On Earth, Dr. Patel and his team watched the readings stabilize. The Predator was gone, the energy levels returning to normal. They did it, he whispered, awe and pride in his voice. Humanity had faced a cosmic threat and had prevailed, not through sheer force, but through creativity, courage, and cooperation. Lena looked at her crew, exhausted but alive. "We did it," she said softly. "We actually did it." Outside, the stars stretched endlessly, but for the first time, humanity felt a part of something larger, a galaxy that had once seemed hostile and incomprehensible. The alien presence faded from the aurora, leaving only a soft glow of energy. Lena knew it had not left forever. It had come to guide, to test, and to ensure that humanity could rise to face challenges no one else could. The galaxy had noticed humans, and now, humanity had proven itself capable. For the first time, Lena allowed herself to hope. They had survived the predator, learned from the alien, and faced the vast unknown, and they had won. Humanity had taken its place among the stars, strong, intelligent, and brave. The aurora drifted silently, lights flickering gently, carrying its weary but triumphant crew toward the future. The galaxy had changed, and so had humanity. They had faced the impossible, and they had risen. The aurora floated through the quiet stars, its crew still catching their breath. The predator was gone, vanished by the combined power of human courage and the alien technology. Lena Morales sat at the controls, staring out at the galaxy, feeling a mixture of relief, awe, and exhaustion. For the first time, she realized how fragile yet strong humanity truly was. On Earth, Dr. Amir Patel and his team watched the data stream in. Systems across the galaxy had stabilized. The predator's destructive energy was gone, and planets previously at risk were safe, at least for now. Humanity had survived a threat older than stars themselves. But more than survival, humans had proven something remarkable. They could rise to challenges beyond imagination. The alien presence returned to the aurora, not with warnings this time, but with a sense of calm approval. Its humanoid figure shimmered in the cabin, light flowing across its form. Lena felt the message in her mind. You have learned. You have acted with courage and unity. You are worthy of the galaxy's notice. The crew exchanged looks, awe and disbelief mixing on every face. They had faced the impossible, survived unimaginable dangers, and now, they were recognized, not as weak, fragile beings, but as a species capable of heroism. Humanity had earned a place in the vastness of space. The alien then showed them visions of the galaxy, not of destruction this time, but of possibilities. Systems alive with civilizations waiting to be discovered, stars shining in patterns of wonder, and planets that could become homes for humans and allies alike. Lena's heart lifted. They had survived the predator, but the journey was far from over. Humanity had a future among the stars, and now, they could see it clearly. Back on Earth, celebrations erupted quietly in scientific circles. Governments and citizens alike felt a renewed sense of purpose. Humanity had faced a cosmic threat and emerged stronger, wiser, and more united. The news spread slowly at first, then faster. For the first time, humans understood that the galaxy was not just a place to survive, but a place where they could belong, grow, and thrive. The aurora descended toward a safe orbit near the alien structures. Lena's crew worked together, scanning and learning from the technology they had used to defeat the predator. Every device, every machine, every pattern of energy held knowledge humanity had never imagined. The alien presence guided them gently, teaching, mentoring, and preparing them for challenges yet to come. For Lena, the moment was quiet but profound. We did more than survive, she said softly, almost to herself. We learned. We grew. We showed the galaxy who we are. Her crew nodded, understanding fully. They had faced death, fear, and the unknown, and they had risen. Humanity had proven itself not just capable of surviving, but of shaping its own destiny. The alien lingered a moment longer, pulsing with light, then slowly receded into the stars. Lena knew it was not gone forever. It had become an ally, a guide, a friend in a galaxy that could have swallowed them whole. The predator's threat had passed, but the universe was vast, full of mysteries and challenges. Humanity was ready. The aurora drifted silently, carrying its crew toward new systems, new stars, and new possibilities. Outside, space stretched endlessly, but now it felt alive, welcoming, and full of wonder. Humanity had faced a threat older than time itself, and they had survived. They had proven their courage, intelligence, and unity. Lena looked out of the viewport at the distant stars. "We are not alone," she whispered. "And we are not powerless. We belong here." The crew smiled, tired but triumphant. They had fought, learned, and won. Humanity had taken its first steps into a larger universe, earning respect not through aggression or conquest, but through bravery, wisdom, and the refusal to give up. The galaxy seemed to pulse with life around them, as if acknowledging their victory. Somewhere out there, civilizations watched, and stars shone brighter. Humanity had faced the impossible, and they had risen. Lena and her crew knew this was only the beginning. The Aurora continued its journey, a small ship carrying a species that had proven itself against the unimaginable. The galaxy had changed, and so had humanity. They were no longer just survivors. They were explorers, learners, and heroes in a vast, mysterious universe. And somewhere, beyond the edge of known space, the alien watched, patient and guiding, knowing that humanity's story was only beginning, and that the galaxy would never forget the courage of a small, determined species that had faced the darkness and risen to meet it.